Hello and welcome to another episode of Humans of Heritage. I am your host, Adam. I'm so excited to be with you today. If you're listening online or if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you for joining us. If you are new to Humans of Heritage, basically this is a podcast to share the story of the individuals who go to Heritage High School, whether that be a staff member or a student. These hallways have stories that walk through them every single day. And we have put this project together to be able to tell those stories, for you to be able to hear the stories of your classmates, of your teachers, of your principals. And I know that through this project, people will be impacted and challenged and even moved to share their story. And we'll talk a bit more about that at the end. But I'm excited to introduce our guests today. With us, these two students were actually recommended to me after our first episode, and said that these two would be fantastic for Humans of Heritage. And so I couldn't wait to have them on the couch here with me and to be able to ask them a couple of questions and for you to get to know these students. And so would you welcome to Humans of Heritage, Obed and Olivia. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yes, well, I'm excited that you're here. I don't know how much you know about Humans of Heritage and the podcast and the project that we're doing, but it's really a pleasure of mine to have you here. As I mentioned previous, I was told these are the two individuals that you have to have on the show. And so I'm glad that you're sitting on this couch. So to get everybody to kind of have an opportunity to know you, you are twins, correct?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
How's it being a twin? I just want to know that right off the top. How is it being a twin?
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's really good to have a twin. I know a lot of people are like, you guys fight a lot, or like siblings don't get along, but I think it's the opposite for us, and like we do get along. Well, I'm not going to say that we'd never fight. We do fight and we have arguments and stuff, but it's really good to have a twin.
So let me ask this question, Obed. Who starts most of those fights? Is it you or is it Olivia?
I do most of the
You
time.
do?
Yeah.
What is the reason for a fight normally? Just give me some information.
There's no reason.
There's
It's
no
just-
reason?
Yeah, it's just,
It keeps bugging me,
Yeah.
and I get annoyed,
and then she hits me and then I hit her back. Then that's
Well,
how the fight begins.
yeah.
So.
Okay. Now, as a brother, are you protective of your sister?
Yeah, outside home and
Yeah.
inside, yeah.
Yeah? No, that's very good. And do you feel that protection from your brother?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I do, yeah.
That's good. It must be nice to know that there's that protection from a
Yeah.
brother who's so close to you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's
like we
awesome.
always stick together everywhere. Like when we first came here, it was like we never knew anybody, right? So it was like everything was new. So it was like I had a confidence that I had someone with me and I
Yeah.
could be like going around with them, and
Yeah.
I actually need someone else to guide me because
Okay.
like I have someone with me.
Yeah, in the beginning of the year, like
Yeah.
when we first came here,
Yeah.
it's just the two of us. So we just roam around the school and then
Yeah.
try to figure out
Yeah.
where's that class and the other class. Try to figure
Yeah.
out where each things are, different things.
Now, are most of your classes together?
Well,
Yes, this year
yes.
and last year,
Yeah.
Yes.
we were in the same class, so
Okay.
for the
All
whole year.
of our classes were like
same.
together, but in Sec 3 it wasn't the case. In
Sec 3 was entirely different.
Well, that
so-
was our first year here, and then we were not together in any of our classes.
wow.
Yeah.
So, well, I would say it was a good thing because that made me get used to
Yeah.
the environment around me. If I had my brother, probably I would be like
We would
sticking
depend on
around
each
with
other
him.
too much.
Yeah, but now
yeah.
like it made me get used to the environment.
Okay.
So yeah.
So, to backtrack here for just a moment, you are in grade 11, secondary 5?
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
And just for everybody else to know, and maybe some of your teachers to know, what's your favorite class that you have during the week? I'll go with you first, Obed. What's your favorite
My
class?
favorite class is math, science, and chemistry and physics.
Now that's multiple classes. I need to know what is your one class.
Okay.
What if you said, I'm going to go to school for a week. This is the class I'm going to do for a whole week. What would it be?
I'd say physics.
Physics?
Yes.
Okay. And who's your teacher?
Miss Spence.
Miss
Spence.
Spence?
Yeah.
Miss Spence, if you're watching or listening, you're his favorite teacher. Let's just get that on the record right now, all right? And Olivia, what would your favorite class be?
For me, it's not sciences or anything. It would be ethics or English.
Okay.
So either of the classes, I would go to them every day. So
So why ethics?
Well, I love the teacher.
Okay, who's your teacher?
Miss Barasa.
Ms. Barasa?
Yeah.
Ms. Barasa, there's the shout out for you right there. Okay.
It's because of her, not the class.
Really?
But like for real, like she's really amazing, and she doesn't pressure students. She's
Okay.
like super chill. Like she's like, take your time, because like she trusts the students more
Okay.
than anything else. So I do like her a lot. So that's why I'd prefer her class.
That's awesome.
And she was my English teacher last year. So
Oh, that's great. The truth is, for me, some of my favorite teachers, I still wouldn't have wanted to done their class the whole week. Like history, Mr. Black was a favorite teacher of mine, but I would not want to do history every day. That's just my personal opinion.
It's because of the history.
Exactly.
Subject.
Well, and I just wasn't good at remembering all those dates. Like, I'm sorry.
I
I know
love
1981 because I was born in that year, but other than that, I don't really know anything. But no, that's great. And why physics? I would love to know why physics.
Physics is just how things work,
Yeah.
how nature works, and how objects fall, how
Okay.
they fly. So it's interesting to know how they work.
Okay.
It's so fascinating for me
Yeah.
that it's just like magic.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So neither of you chose phys ed as your favorite
No,
one.
no.
No, not interested in phys ed at all.
No. No.
Okay, that's why I went to school, was for phys ed. I thought that would be
Wow.
probably the only class that I could do well at. No,
Yeah,
that's great. So go ahead.
it's not that we do bad in it. It's just that it's.
We would rather have another class than phys
Yeah,
ed. So.
I mean,
For
he would
sure.
probably prefer a physics class, and I'd probably prefer something else. But
Yeah.
yeah,
You'd like 2 physics classes over 1 phys ed class.
Yes.
Yeah? Oh, that's good. I applaud you for that. I'm not there, but I applaud you for that. Now, for those who don't know, you've already said it a couple times, or you've alluded to it already, that, new to the school, but wasn't just new to the school, new to the country.
Yes.
So tell everybody where you're from originally.
So we're from India,
Okay.
and we came to Canada 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah, and it's gonna be 3 years soon.
Okay.
So we're new to everything here,
Yeah.
basically, and we're still getting used to the nature, the culture, everything.
So let me ask this: what was the reason to make the move from, if you can share, from India to Canada? Why did your family want to choose Canada as their place to live?
My dad
Okay.
got a job here,
Okay.
so that's mainly the reason why we've moved from India to Canada.
Okay.
And we've also wanted to move, so that was a good opportunity for us to move.
Yeah.
So that's the main reason.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't like he got a job here, but it was like his company wanted him to go work
Yeah.
here. So
Okay.
it was like a
Like an on-site.
yeah,
Okay.
like a work permit one.
Yeah.
So temporary residence. No,
Now, how much did you know of Canada before you came here?
nothing.
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 Wow.
My dad, our dad traveled to Canada for for a few weeks
Yeah.
in 2014,
Okay.
and he used to send pictures of like snow, and he'd
Yeah.
be like, "Look at this, look at that," and like that's how we got interested in it. And we're like, we want to go there at least for a visit, because
Yeah.
we never saw snow.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, it's gonna be so fun. We want to go there, and so we wanted to come here, but at least for a visit. But then eventually, after like 4 years, his company wanted him to come here, so like we came.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What was it like your first time seeing snow?
It
It was
white.
awesome.
Yeah.
And it was so beautiful, but once we step into the snow, it's not
cold.
that great.
How long did it take for you to think, okay, I can't wait for the snow
At
to go
least
away?
I'd say 1 year.
Yeah,
Yeah?
the first year maybe.
Yeah.
The first year was super fun.
Yeah, it was fun because the first time we saw
Yeah.
snow.
Yeah.
But the second year was kind of boring because it's
Yeah.
the same snow. So.
Yeah, it's the same snow. I was with a student, this is, trying to think how many years ago now, but quite a while ago, and he was from Mexico. And I was with him the first time he ever experienced like snow
No,
falling.
yeah.
And just the amazement
You
that
sh-
this
you sh-
happened.
You should have seen our faces.
Really?
So we were like coming to school in the bus, and we saw like snow. Well, not a lot of snow. It was like starting to snow.
Okay.
And
Just a little on the
both of
surface.
us were literally like, we put our faces in the window and we're like, oh my God, look at it. I can't wait to see
Yeah.
like the ground covered with snow. So
Wow.
we're like super amazed.
That's awesome. Now, have you picked up any like winter activities? Have you tried anything that you're like, I'm so glad it snowed, so I could have done this, like skating or tobogganing, or Anything that you've done that you've
no.
liked? No? You haven't
No.
done any of
I'm
that stuff
scared.
yet?
I'm scared
What
to
are you?
try it.
You're scared of tobogganing?
No, I did snowshoeing though.
You did snowshoeing?
Yeah, we did
I
in gym
snow-
class.
That's
yeah.
living on the edge.
Yeah,
That's
I
living
did
on the edge right
snowshoeing.
there.
I wanted to do I wanted to try skiing.
Okay.
But never
Downhill
got-
or cross country?
Probably downhill.
Downhill.
Yeah?
Downhill is better than.
Oh,
cross.
for sure.
Yeah.
But if you're going to try downhill, then you should be able to do sledding downhill too. That would probably be safer than downhill. No? Maybe?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's a really cool experience to be able to try these new
Yeah.
things. You know, and in trying those new things, I'm sure for you there was lots of new things. You know, what was it like, you know, being told we're moving, and then that journey to here? What were some of the feelings you went through? What were some of the experiences you had in that journey from India to here?
Can go first.
We were really excited for the first time because it's a new place, new culture, new people. So we were excited to see how it goes over there and how the climates and the rest. Yeah, it's just excitement, full of excitement. And when we first came here, we were amazed.
That's awesome. How about for yourself?
For me, when my dad told that we were gonna go to Canada, and we had no idea how long we were gonna stay there, but we wanted to stay here, but we had it was uncertain.
Okay.
So at first I was excited, I was happy that we were gonna go, but then eventually I started to get scared, and I was like, because I was in 8th grade when I was in India, and coming here at like such a higher grade, like 9th grade, I'll be in Sec 3, right? So I was scared because like we don't know how long we're gonna stay. What if we have to go back? What if we have to like go back to India and start studying there again? So I was like kind of scared, but at the same time, when I first stepped here, it was really exciting, and I was happy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's really good. So, what were some of the challenges to adapting to a new country that you experienced? What are
It's
some of the things that-
definitely the culture and
Yeah.
the weather.
So tell me a bit about the like, weather, obviously for sure, but the change of culture. What was like the first thing that just hit you? Like, wow, that's not how things happen in
Yeah,
India. What was
yeah.
that for you?
The school.
The school?
Yeah.
Yeah. What? So tell me, what's different about school in India than it is here?
It's so different.
There is a uniform usually in
Okay.
India.
Yeah.
Every
Okay.
school has a uniform.
Okay.
And no phones, no calculators.
Wow.
Mental math.
Nothing. Everything has to
Yes.
like communication, and like you're not allowed any of your phones or anything. You could
Yeah.
have them at home, but like you cannot bring them,
Bring
to,
them to
school.
school.
So it was
Not even for 10th graders.
Wow.
nothing like until you graduate high school, and then I don't know if people are allowed to have phones even in colleges because they prefer not to because it's super distracting.
Okay.
So I was fascinated when I saw students here. Like our first visit was to just go around the school and get familiar with the surroundings. So like when I first saw people here, I was like, wow, they're so different. Like no uniform, people can like have their phones, they can like go around, like they're always on their phones.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I was like, it was hard for me to get used to and make friends because it was hard to talk to people because they're always on their phones, right? And in India, it's the opposite. It's like people are always talking to each other, and it's always like they tend to come and talk to you. And if you're new, they're like they want to know about you, so they're always talking to you. But
And
here,
then
it was
when you
so
talk to
hard.
people, you make new friends, and then
Yeah.
you share your experiences, and then you get to know them more, and then that's how you communicate, and that's what's being a human. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But here at first I was super scared and everything. And because I was the one who had to make the first move and go talk to people, it was even
Yeah.
scarier. And I could not, my English accent wasn't that great. It was like, I don't know, people said that I had a very strong Indian accent. So I was like, when I say something, they wouldn't understand because
Okay.
a lot of words are different. And
Okay.
they're not Americanized. They're
Yeah,
more like
absolutely, yeah.
British
Yeah.
because we were ruled by the British, right?
Yeah,
So
we
we
were
had
colony.
like a lot of, we use a British words and stuff, like vocabulary and stuff. So it was hard, but I eventually got used to it.
Are there any of the things that were a bit of a culture shock that you first saw, like you're talking about individual in their phone or whatnot. Are there any of the things that you saw that caught you off guard that you now do yourself? Like if someone saw you from back in India, like you were to see them again, what would they say about you? Like, oh, that's very Canadian.
Human interaction.
Really?
There's less human interaction.
Has it changed you in your human interaction?
No.
No, not really,
Not
but it's
really.
just talking to people.
Like when I see new students in my class, I go talk to them because I know what it's like to be a new student.
Okay.
I know that it's not easy. Like regardless of which country you come from, it's still the same thing because you're moving a country, right?
Yeah.
So it's still the same thing. So I do talk to them, but like if my friends saw me now, they'd be surprised because. In India, when I went to school, it was like always uniform, right? And then I would have like my hair braided.
Okay.
Now it's not the same thing. They'd be like, "Wow, you look so different."
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool that that some of those changes are there, but you're still staying true to who you are and that culture.
I didn't want to change because no matter how long I stay here, I still want to show people that I'm an Indian and I have like an Indian background.
That's awesome.
And like the traditional values that my parents taught me and like the family values.
Yeah.
I don't want any of that to change. Rather, I would want it to impact people in a good way.
So, and I love that. I love that answer. For both of you, what is that, value or characteristic of your Indian culture that you are proud of? What is that thing that you are like, when people can be introduced to the Indian culture, what is it that you are proud to show off as somebody with that background?
I would say everything.
Everything, yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Because like food or like the way we dress and the way we address others, like the way we talk to them, everything is like super Indian. So I think, I don't know, like my friends always talk to me and they're like, they love talking to me because they're like, I show a lot of Indian culture, right? So it's,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, but most importantly for me is discipline.
Okay.
That's how Asian parents raise their kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's more strictly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that leads me to my next question, and I asked you a bit of this outside before we came in here to record this. So I wanted to make sure that it was an appropriate question. The stereotype that comes from kids who have more of an Asian background, Indian culture, that kind of stuff is they're really smart, and I guess the understanding is families are lots of pressure to be the smartest, to grades, like nothing else matters. How much of that is accurate, and how much of that have you felt as a pressure in your life, maybe from your parents? Is it a pressure from your parents? Give me some insight onto what that's like for you.
For me personally, more than the pressure from my family, it was the stereotype that we are smart. It was like the pressure from the people around me was a lot more than the one that came from my family.
Okay.
Because my parents never said that you had to be at the top and you had to get good grades, because they said whatever you do in your life, just excel at that. Like, just, it's up to you. We're not gonna choose a thing for you. You have to choose it yourself.
Okay.
But a lot of people have this idea that Asians are the smartest kids, and I do not agree with that. I do say that a lot of Asians are smart, but it doesn't mean that every single Asian is a smart kid.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that it's the family pressures. Maybe there are a few families that pressure their kids to be at the top, but not everyone pressure their kids. So I don't think it's always the pressure that comes from the family. It also could be the pressure that people put on you. So,
Obed, what with that kind of stereotype?
Yes.
People just assuming that. And I'm not saying that you guys aren't smart, because I know I'm asking you before, Olivia, you said that, I was not doing so well in math, and I asked you what that was, and you're like, 78. I was like, that'd be my best year ever. So I'm not saying that you're not smart, because I know that you're both very smart individuals, and I know you want to go into engineering, right? That's when physics, you love physics.
yeah.
But when the stereotype is put out there, that people, try and or speak a certain way because they're just stereotyping that you are supposed to be this genius. What does that do to you? How does that make you feel?
It's like it feels different when people think you are the smartest, but it depends. Like if you're really the smartest person in that conversation or a group, then you feel proud. But if you're not really the smartest, then you feel like, oh, that's a lie.
Yeah.
I'm not really the smartest, but I try to be. So it's not about how smart you are. It's just about how hard you work.
Okay.
That defines how smart you are.
That's awesome. Well, I want to just transition just very quickly to some things. I asked the question to some teachers about, just to say a few things or to, share some thoughts on it. So not a lot, just a couple of things that people have kind of jotted down in conversation. One teacher said that Olivia is very kind, caring, and social, right? So you talked about being shy and everything, but they said that you're very social. She often helps her peers. Her positivity is contagious, right? Obed says you're very driven and determined. He works incredibly hard, which you just talked about, hardworking.
I agree with it.
It's very true.
100%.
Yeah?
Like even during like breaks or like if you have a pet day, he doesn't waste time. He's always like on his computer trying to learn new stuff.
That's
And
awesome.
is always doing stuff and like always keeping his brain working.
Yeah.
He never like wastes any time, and I'm so proud of it.
I mean,
Well,
that's not completely true because I do waste some time.
You do waste some of it?
Yeah, because
Maybe I never saw it. I don't know.
it's impossible for someone to work 24 hours a day, so you just need a break. So
You know what's funny, and I'll get back to what I was saying in a second, is I just said that you were caring, that you very kind, and you just showed that in how you spoke about your brother. And on the other side to that, the beginning I said, are you protective of your sister? But it's funny because I feel like you're protective of your brother as well. and that, that proud feeling for him it's an awesome thing to see.
Yeah.
So that's great. I like seeing that. But it says Obed is very driven, determined. He works incredibly hard and works to go above and beyond the course of his developing knowledge. Very true?
I agree.
Yeah.
Like we had a math class this morning, and the teacher she was teaching us logarithms. He did it 2 weeks ago, and he was sitting there just like watching her explain, and he sits beside me. He was literally doing it like in his brain. He was so quick that he didn't even like do any notes because he already did it, right? I was like, wow, you're so smart.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I asked you in the hallway before if you're in drama. You both said yes.
Yeah.
And Miss Small, if you're watching, it's not because they chose it. They chose art, actually.
Yeah.
And you didn't get it. You got drama.
Yeah.
But funny enough, Miss Small actually said that you do really well in drama.
Yeah, she did.
Do you study 2 weeks ahead of time for acting too? Is that what you do?
no, acting is just natural, so
Yeah.
I just do what I can,
Awesome.
and based on that, she gives me a grade. So
Yeah.
She loves him. I can
Yeah.
clearly tell it by the way she is like, yeah. He mostly acts like a side actor, but
Yeah.
he still does really good.
Yeah.
She was like, you should be an actor.
That's awesome. She's great, and we hope she's getting well, right?
Yeah,
She's had
yeah.
some surgery,
Yeah.
and we hope, Miss Small, that you're doing better now. This was also said, fact that they are both always striving to improve in various aspects of their lives, academically and in their extracurriculars. And then finally, it says this, they are very passionate and smiling students. When you hear the positive
Yeah.
reinforcement from teachers
Yeah.
or principals, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel like,
motivated for
Yeah.
me because I want to be better at something that I'm
Yeah.
already good.
Yeah.
So it just every day you try to be better at something you're already good at. So
Yeah.
if you hear that, then you're going on the right path. So you just keep on improving at what you're doing.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So that's how you get better and maybe the best.
Yeah.
for me, it feels like more of like included, and that like because at first I was like, I don't fit here. But then when I hear teachers talking about me and like appreciating, I was like, okay, I'm so included. I feel so like I'm glad that a lot of teachers have positive comments about me. I'm like, it just encourages people to do and be good at what they're already doing, like my brother said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. what about heritage do you love?
The resources and the equipment.
Yeah.
All the technology they have here is just
We literally
completely different.
had
It's
nothing
just on another level.
in India.
Compared to India, they
Yeah.
don't have a gym, they don't have fancy equipment.
Yeah.
But here they have everything you'll ever
We had
need. So
like any of it, like the library.
it's huge.
Yeah,
It is
it's
huge.
really huge.
Yeah.
And like the staff, they're super friendly, and like
They're
the
very nice.
teachers. You don't see a lot of that in India because they're more of like study oriented than of like
Practical,
communication
yeah.
and friendliness, because the teachers there are mostly like they want you to excel, so they're always like pressuring you. But
Yeah.
here it's different, like the way they treat the students, it's so different, the way
Yeah.
they teach, and like the resources. If you're not doing good at something, you can go back and like talk to a teacher and like at lunch, or you have tutorings and stuff, so it's really helpful. Like we had none of it when we were in India, like even a library. So it's like it feels good to have a lot of resources
Yeah.
that will help you excel in your life. So it's
So
really
you've made some friends since you've been here,
good. Yep.
right? You talked about you making that first step and becoming friends with people. How have those friends made moving to Canada easier for you?
Okay, so a lot of friends that I have are also immigrants.
Okay.
And all of my friends that I have now come from a different place.
Okay.
So I feel like I feel more comfortable with them because they understand what it is like to being in a different place and trying to adapt to the culture and trying to make new friends. So they make me feel like I'm not alone and they're also with me, and
Okay.
we share our experiences if we have some trouble with like the C-SHEP applications or stuff, and like because we're immigrants, right, so we have like different documentations
Yes.
and stuff. So it feels like they're also with me in it, so
Okay.
it feels
How about
good.
you, Obed?
people here are nice, but it depends on the person. So it's not really. People are nice. My friends are very nice to me. So it just feels nice to have good
Yeah.
people around you
Yeah.
and hang out with nice people.
Yeah.
It's just knowledgeable and more friendly. You just share things and share experiences, and you can of course get more knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, there were people who don't like talk to me and like ignore.
there will
me.
always be people who are good to you
Yeah.
and bad. So
It just feels good to have friends who like notice you and talk to you. Yeah.
So let me ask this question. If it's too personal or if it's, too much to say, feel free to cut it off. But you say some people don't talk to you, and some people, for some, it's just not in their character to go out of their way to
Yeah.
meet new people. What would you want people who are not from a different country, who are from here in Canada, to know about, immigrant students who would come into the school to help them, with that transition? What would you want them to know that can, help in that whole process?
I would say know them first, and first know them who they are,
Yeah.
and then later judge based on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Like you need to know them first before you
Yeah.
can even judge them. So
Yeah. I mean, I understand that a lot of people don't feel comfortable talking to new people. I completely understand that. But the thing is, if you don't talk to them, you would never know who they really are, and it would make you look like a bad person in front of them because there's someone new and they have nobody to talk to. And if you are like the helping hand, it'd probably be better because people would get to know you and they wouldn't like think that foreigners are bad, because like at first it was hard for me to make friends, but then there were also a few people in like my classes and stuff who didn't want to talk to me, and like I felt left out. But there are also people who were there for me and like who talked to me. I know it's hard, but it's just one word
Yeah.
and it will change everything.
For sure. It's true. Like, obviously I went to high school when I was younger, and people have their own groups of people that
Yeah.
they hang out with, and
Yeah.
it's very rare that you transition out of that group to another group, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of it's comfort, a lot of
Yeah.
it's familiarity, right?
Yeah.
I'm for me, a lot of sports, so naturally gravitate towards people who like
love
sports and
yeah.
who play sports, right? Doesn't mean that I can't socialize with other people. It just meant that naturally that's where I gravitated towards, and that happens with a lot of students, and being uncomfortable. Like, you know, you talk about being nervous in a new place, and I feel like a lot of students experience that same thing when somebody new comes to them, because like, well, I'm not sure how, you know, to approach this subject or to approach this conversation, but I love what you said. Sometimes it's just one word, and say hi, and it all starts from there.
It will change everything. Like, for me, there is a new student now. She's my friend. Like this year, she came in, and I was super shy. I was like, should I go talk to her? I was debating. I was like, should I go or not? And then I was like, it's fine. Just talk. Just a word. Just be nice to her and be like, hi. Or like introduce yourself. Later on, even if she's rude to you, it's fine. As long as you are nice to someone, they'll be nice to you. So I was like, I gathered up all the courage that I had. I went and I talked to her, and she talked back to me, and like eventually we became friends. It's just like a word that would change everything. All you have to do is talk to them, and it's not hard. It's not hard.
No, I understand that. I really appreciate that. You know, your willingness to make people feel comfortable when they are new to the school, and about connecting with people, even like talking about get to know somebody. They're very, very important things. You know,
even if you don't like them, just talk and then know them more.
Absolutely.
And based on that, if you want to talk more, then you just be friends and then talk more. If you don't want to talk, then just don't hate them. It's just be nice to everyone.
It's not that you're gonna like every single person that you meet in your life. It's
because
fine.
There are differences and there are similarities. So there will be some things that are different, but it doesn't mean that you have to hate them. It just means that
even if you hate them, just be nice to them.
Just be nice, but you don't have to hang out with them. But it's just like
I understand that. Are you happy that you're at Heritage?
Yeah.
You know, when dreaming about coming to Canada and being told, hey, we're moving to Canada, and then picking a certain school, you know, you're happy that your parents chose this one for you?
Actually, this one also has a story. Like, my dad, he didn't intend to apply to this school. It was St. Lambert that we first applied. Well, it wasn't like an application. He called them, and they wanted to meet my dad. So he did go, but that day the school was closed, and he didn't check his message that the woman sent him that it's closed. Don't come. And there was like a huge snowstorm that day, and we weren't here yet. So he did go, but he couldn't go to the school and talk to the people in the school. So he was just talking to his colleagues, and like one of them was like, this school is good, like why don't you just talk to them? And then he came in and he talked to them, and like everything went on smoothly without any like disturbance. Awesome. So that's how we ended up coming to Heritage.
Awesome. Yeah, we were supposed to go to St. Lambert. If it wasn't for that snowstorm, we would be in St. Lambert right now. So.
Well, then I believe that there is a specific reason why you're in this school, and I believe it's that contagious smiling, you know, characteristics that you have, the attributes that you have, that brings life to a place like this. And every school, every place that we go to need people that have that is said about you guys, that you're smiling people, that you're caring people. That's needed. And so you guys, it's not an accident that school was closed that day, that you found yourself here.
We were surprised too. We were like, wow. It never happens, right? It's usually like super planned, and people are like super...
If you plan on going to a school, then that usually happens.
And it was like a snowstorm all of a sudden, and then we ended up in Heritage.
So that's so great. I have one final question, and I kind of prepped you, not weeks in advance, just recently. And feel free. It doesn't have to be a super like emotional answer. It can be, but I always ask a question to adults, which is, what would you tell high school you about life? But for high school students, I want to know, what would you ask future you about life? 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the road, you had a chance to talk to that Olivia or that Obed. What would you ask them about life? So whatever one of you wants to go first. What would you want to know about life?
I'd say, have you been nice to people, or did you talk to them a lot?
I literally wanted to say that.
Really?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted to say that.
It's not a twin thing, is it?
No.
I was thinking, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna say this, and he just said it.
Okay.
And one more thing is that, have you tried your best at everything? Like, maybe it's education, maybe it's sports. Have you tried your best?
Okay. So nice to people, and have you tried your best?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say the same thing, but I would also add like, don't be disappointed if you are not doing good at anything, like classes, or if you applied for C-SHIP and like, or you wanted to go in a program and you couldn't because of your grades. It's fine. You always have many ways, and you always have like many options in life. It's not the end of the world. You can still do whatever you want to do in the future. So it's just, don't be disappointed. Just tell yourself it's okay. I'll still be fine. Yeah. It's not that education is the only thing that would like
That would make you a better person.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot to a person more than just education.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Obed and Olivia, I'm super thankful that I had an opportunity to sit and chat with you guys today. I know you were nervous coming in.
Oh yeah.
You feel okay now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel okay? It wasn't that bad, right?
Yeah. It
But
wasn't
I'm
bad.
really happy. You know, again, I can hear in our conversation your love for people and for the human connection, right? And that's part of the reason why we're doing Humans of Heritage. It's to tell the stories so we can get to know each other, because one of the things that we have a hard time doing in culture today is getting to know people.
True.
Right? A lot of things are roadblocks to getting to know, whether it's phones, whether it's just busy, whatever. And we're not good at that conversation anymore.
Yeah.
And so this is a way for us to have those stories to be told. And so I'm really happy that your names were suggested to me. And I'm really happy to have gotten to know you a little bit more today.
Yeah.
And I hope that your story and the words that you shared today have the ability to impact other people. And I believe they will. I know that our stories are powerful, and that they do have that opportunity to change lives. And so my hope is that, you know, as people hear you and hear what you said today, that it'll challenge them, you know, to try a little more. To
challenge them to talk to people.
There it is.
Yes.
You know, that's so true. So thank you. I really.
Rather than just sitting at your desk, go talk to people.
Yes.
Make new friends. It's fine. Don't
Yes.
always be on your phone.
Exactly. Well, you heard it straight from Olivia right there, everybody. but I want to, again, thank you to Obed and Olivia for being our guests today. That's my challenge for you. Just as Olivia said, I challenge you, students, even teachers, staff, to, when you're walking down the hall or you're in class, whatever, say hi to somebody that you've never said hi to before. Put yourself out there to get to know somebody that you haven't had the opportunity to do that before. You know, the greatest, you know, thing that you're risking there is just, you know, somebody not, you know, saying hi back, but you trying could bridge the gap between you and somebody else. And so just say hi, as you heard before. Just say hi. It's not too much to say one word. And so I want to thank again our guests, but I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank you for listening to their story. And my hope is that following this podcast, that you would feel motivated to share your story, that you would feel motivated to share a little bit more about who you are, your journey. It doesn't have to be the same as Obed and Olivia's story. Your story is important. And that's why we're doing Humans of Heritage, is for you to share your story, because stories change lives. And so my hope is to sit down with you at some point on this couch and to be able to tell your story to your school, to your friends, to your peers. So thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you on our next episode. Thank you.